Here at Baratza, we've been building and designing grinders for over 20 years now, and during that time, the lineup has grown and evolved as we continue to innovate. While we build each grinder to serve multi-purpose utility, it goes without saying that each has different strengths over others depending on your needs. So if you're on the hunt now for a Baratza grinder, I'll give you a general overview of each unit in the lineup and serve some of our recommendations. But if you want a deeper dive into each unit to find out its specifications, you can check out our website or look in the description for its detailed product video below. So the first and most obvious question you should ask yourself when picking a new grinder is, how do I brew coffee at home? We like to use the 80-20 rule here. So as an example of that, if I brew espresso 80% of the time and then the rest of the brew methods 20% of the time, I'm gonna go for an espresso optimized grinder. The second question is where things get a little more fun. So now that you've figured out which category to focus on, you get to look at each unit's built-in features and see which one suits your day-to-day. Now that you've got those other questions sorted, the last thing you should consider is your budget. Now, it's our goal to make any new innovation as accessibly priced as possible. So take, for example, grind by weight dosing, which we pioneered over 10 years ago. Today, it lives on in our Vario W Plus and our Forte line grinders, but it's a feature you won't find anywhere else except in much higher priced commercial end models. So now let's get into each of the grinders in the lineup, what features they offer, and what brew methods we think they're optimized for. If you're looking for things like pricing and further specifications, you can check out the product pages on our website. First up, let's talk about the trusty Encore. Now, this workhorse grinder has become famous among the specialty coffee crowd because it delivers a premium grind quality at a really affordable price. And to operate, it's super simple. All you do is add coffee to the hopper, select one of 40 grind settings, and then either select the pulse button in the front or turn the on-off knob on the side. And down at the low end, you're gonna get really nice fine grinds as for espresso, but where I think this grinder really shines is if you're doing things like pour overs, so using a medium grind size, or doing immersion methods like cold brew or French press, and living up in the coarser end. This grinder's multi-purpose range, ease of use, and low cost easily make this the most recommended grinder for any user on the market. The Virtuoso Plus brings all of the simplicity of the Encore, but with two key differences. The first you'll note is the digital timer in the front, which allows you to dose hands-free down to the 10th of a second. And inside is our M2 burr, which offers better grind quality throughout the entire range. You'll also note a more robust build with metal accents that don't just look pretty, but actually offer a quieter grinding experience overall. The reason I'd recommend choosing this grinder over the Encore is if you need that quieter experience, or you grind a lot of high-end coffees like single origins that just need better detail throughout the entire range. We're now moving on to the Sette series, which is famous for its extremely fast grind speeds, a revolutionary straight-through design for lower tension, and the easy-to-use control panel up in the front. Now, each of these grinders is optimized for espresso, but I like to use these grinders for single cup pour overs, and it's as easy as switching out the arms so that it can accept a V60, and we also have an attachment for AeroPress if that's your thing. So let's start here with the Sette 30, which is your entry into the Sette line. Now this grinder is dead simple to use with 31 steps of adjustment, an easy to use timer up in the front, and once you hit start, you'll be grinding directly into the dosing cup, or you can switch these arms over and now you're grinding directly into a portafilter. This grinder's for you if you're new to espresso and you're learning how to dial in, or if you've got things like a decaf or a really nice single origin that you want to have a dedicated grinder for. The Sette 270 is an advanced time dosing grinder which makes espresso super easy and quick. That's why you'll actually find it in cafes or in places like coffee carts and home countertops where space matters but performance is paramount. Now, there's a few things that differentiate this grinder from its younger sibling, and let's start here on the control panel. You'll see that there's now the inclusion of 3 programmable presets which allow you to save a timed dose down to the 10th of a second. Then, if we look down at the grind adjustment, you'll note that there's a micro ring, which is stepless, and that further subdivides the 31 macro steps into a near infinite grind range. Finally, looking at the portafilter holder, you'll see the inclusion of a hook, which allows you to go hands-free and grind directly into a portafilter. The pinnacle of the Sette series is the Sette 270 WI. Now, the WI has a lot of the same features as the 270, such as the near infinite grind range and hands-free dosing direct into portafilter. But the differences are right there in the name. The W stands for weight, and that's because you can actually save 3 programmable presets to dose directly into a portafilter down to the 10th of a gram. And the I stands for intelligent because the integrated scale actually learns and gets more and more accurate with every dose. So if you're a little bit more of an advanced espresso brewer and you're further along on your coffee journey, this is the grinder for you if you value repeatability and precision. The Vario Plus is the first of our flatbed grinders that I'll introduce you today, and this one is a time-based dosing grinder. So starting in the front, you'll see there's a high visibility backlit LCD display which shows you your time down to the 10th of a second. You can save 3 different programmable presets using these buttons up in the front, and the grinder is able to adjust over 220 different steps using the micro and macro adjustment arms, meaning you can grind anything from espresso all the way up to pour-overs and even the occasional French press. Down below, you'll see the barista lights are illuminating the portafilter holder, so you can grind directly into your portafilter. And this also pops out so you can switch it out with our grounds bin for much larger batches. Inside under the hood, there's large 54mm flat ceramic burrs that offer a full-bodied creamy mouthfeel that espresso lovers absolutely love. And something you can't see is that there's been an upgraded all-metal build inside, meaning you get tons of consistency back-to-back with every shot. If you're an espresso lover and you drink espresso 80% of the time, this grinder is going to do it for you. So let's move on to the Vario W Plus. Now, if you love the Vario Plus for its multi-purpose capability, you're going to love the Vario W Plus because it has a lot of the same features. Up in the front, there's 220 steps of adjustment. Inside, there's the same all-metal build for extreme consistency batch to batch. But where these grinders differ is right there in the name with the W. The W stands for weight, and that's because this grinder features an integrated scale that allows you to dose down to the 10th of a gram. And if you brew across different methods, you can save 3 programmable presets up in the front. So all you have to do is hit start, and now you're grinding hands-free. Under the hood, this grinder features large 54mm steel burrs as opposed to ceramic, and a lot of folks love it for the clarity it produces in the cup when you're brewing something like filter coffee. So if you're a filter brewer or you generally brew larger batches at a time, go for the Vario W Plus. And both of these grinders are available in both a black and steel option and a white option as well. So now we've come to the Forte series, which features an all-metal build, making it perfect for commercial settings. Over on the far end is the Forte AP, which I would say is very similar to the Vario Plus in that it's optimized for espresso. And that's thanks to the same 54mm flat ceramic burrs that produce the heavy-bodied, creamy espresso. You can also grind directly into your portafilter with a portaholder adapter, and touchscreen display makes it very easy to operate in a fast-paced environment. And dialing in couldn't be easier, just simply change the micro and macro arms and now you're dialed in. I would recommend the Forte AP if you find yourself brewing a ton of espresso or you're working in a high-volume environment where you need that consistency from shot to shot. That's why a lot of cafes actually use this grinder to showcase their single origin coffees on espresso, or they'll use it as a dedicated decaf grinder or even a backup grinder to their main workhorse. And finally, we're here at the Forte BG. Now, the Forte BG and the Forte AP share a ton of similar characteristics, but where the BG differs is with its steel burrs under the hood, which produce excellent clarity if you're brewing filter coffees or making a lot of individual pour-overs. I would recommend the Forte BG to you if you find yourself brewing a lot of single origin coffees, or if you're a cafe that uses this in a high volume setting and you need that consistency back to back. The Forte BG and the Forte AP are at the top of our lineup because they really can do it all. From espresso to filter to batch brew, with satisfying tactile clicks, these grinders make it super easy to grind really whatever you want to grind. One of the things that excites me most about this entire lineup is that these grinders are constantly pushing the boundaries for quality and efficiency. And every grinder we sell is backed by a 1-year warranty and a team of knowledgeable support staff who you can reach out to if you have questions about repairs, parts, or even how to install those parts. And the coolest part to me is that a lot of our design ideas actually come from customer feedback, so I encourage you to engage with us on social media. Whichever grinder you pick, I know you're going to have fun on the coffee journey. So with that, happy grinding.